Me encantó cómo quedó. Nunca me muero.
Bueno, tengan cabros, hijos de la chingada. A ver. A ver, listo, perfecto, men. A lo que nos cruje chencha, men. Bueno, cabro. ¿Me servís la hora? A ver, perfecto, men. Ahora sí. Déjame ir abriendo el... A ver, déjame ir abriendo todas las chingaderas, men. Ok, perfecto. Déjame ir abriendo todas las chingaderas, men. Que por cierto, vayan a ver el dibujo de la faquencia, que está bien bonito, men. Me quedó bien bonito. Me quedó bien pinche bonito, me vayan a verlo. ¡Ey! Alguien me siguió, men. Alguien me empezó a seguir, men. ¿Qué pedo? Ah, mira. Ah, mira, men. Amilo y Luz VTuber Commissions. Ah, una que hace comisiones de VTuber. Nice, men. Perfecto. Perfecto, men. Mamalón. ¡A huevo! ¡A huevo! A ver, banda, a ver. Mírame tantito, ahora sí. Ok, vamos a abrir, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Esto lo quería hacer un poquito más... ¡Ah! Ok, perfecto, perfecto, menor. Perfecto, men. Así vamos a borrar. Todo lo que está rodeándome. Ok, perfecto. Ahora sí. Ahora sí vamos a poner, ya que está todo resuelto, men, así vamos a poner el tema, el que nos cruje, men. La canción que nos cruje. La música que nos cruje, men. Ok, perfecto. Ahora sí. Música del Shin Mega Tieso, men. Perfecto, men. Ahora sí. Buenas, Artesno, compadre. ¿Cómo andamos? Buenas, compadre. ¿Cómo andas? Aquí seguimos con el modelo para los videos, men. Pero estaba viendo, estoy bien sin hacer nada. Pues aquí te entretienes, men. Ya sabes, aquí siempre puedes confiar para tu entretenimiento barato, men. A ver, perfecto, men. Aquí siempre puedes confiar para el entretenimiento barato y de dudosa calidad. En efecto, a ver. Perfecto, perfecto. Podría ponerme a ver Detective Pichula, pero mejor me quedo a farmear puntos. O podrías farmear puntos mientras ves Detective Pichula. No sé, solo digo, men. Guiño, guiño, codazo, codazo, guiño, guiño. A pesar de que me perjudique, pero la view cuenta bastante, men. Así que eso, men. Por cierto, Artes, ¿qué piensas de la nueva faquencia? ¿Qué piensas del rediseño de la faquencia, men? Sexos chilinus. Más Yoshka. Medio medio, no me gusta mucho a mí. ¿Qué fue lo que no te gustó del todo, men? ¿Qué fue lo que a ti no te gustó del todo, men? Para tomarlo como retroalimentación, men. ¿Qué no? ¿Por qué no escuchó, men? ¿Qué pedo, men? ¿Qué pedo, men? ¿Por qué no se escuchó? Qué perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Perfecto, la falda, las cosas esas que parecen trampa de pescado. Trampa de pescado en las piernas de color de goma. Y ahora me fijo en el dibujo a ver si era todo. Ah, es que fueron las recomendaciones que me dio Finke con respecto a... Fueron las recomendaciones que me dio Finke para hacer el dibujo y me dijo que con mallas y la falda, aunque bueno, en eventuales dibujos lo puedo retocar para que no parezca tan así. Pero gracias, men. Gracias por los detalles. Igual puedo cambiarle el color, no sé, men. Pero eso, men, la falda, pues sí, la puedo retocar un poco. En eventuales dibujos, men. Eso es más que nada para tener una referencia de, men. Pero eso, men. A ver, perfecto. Siento que están muy pequeñas las manos, no sé. A ver. Sí, siento que están muy pequeñas, a ver. Ya me fijé, eso era todo lo que no me gustaba. Ah, perfecto. Entonces fuera de eso, pues son detallitos que puedo corregir fácil, así que perfecto, men. Perfecto, muchas gracias por su retroalimentación, joven. Se aprecia bastante. Pero a ver, vamos a ver. Cosas pendejas. Abejas pendejas. A ver. Abejas pendejas. A ver, ¿la música se escucha bien? Sí, se escucha bien, perfecto. Abejas pendejas. A ver, pendejo, pendejo. Pendejo no dura nada. Ok, perfecto. Bueno, como que esto lo voy a volver a pegar. Ok, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Ya me fui. Eso es todo lo que no me gustaba. Perfectamente. Para corregirlo en futuros trabajos, men. Ok, perfecto, men. Ah, como me gusta la pinche música del tiesto, men. Me pinches putas perras mama la música del tiesto, men. A ver, perfecto. ¡Ey, ey, doctor Sad, compadre! ¿Cómo andamos? ¿Cómo anda, compadre? ¿Cómo está, compadre? Hermano de efecto causita. Yo ando joya, men. Yo ando joyísima. Ando aquí haciendo los assets para el video de Metro, men. Para los videos del tutubo, men. A ver, aquí va. Aquí está la critico pose. Sí, hice la critico pose. Cállense a la verga. Hice la critico pose. Ah, cierto. Pronto me había dicho que la mano queda un poco rara, men. Entonces lo mismo. Bien, bien. Acabo de salir del trabajo. Me puse a jugar Battle Feo. ¿Cuál Battle Feo? ¿Cuál de todos los Battle Feos, men? Porque al chile. Porque al chile, dependiendo de lo que digas, men, es si seguimos siendo compas o no. No te creas, men. Si te gusta el Battlefield 5, está. Lo critica. Fucking te critica, ¿qué harías? Fucking procede a criticarte, ¿qué harías? Luego lo liberaré, men. De los assets, men, del video. Que por cierto, ya inventé nueva firma, men. Ya inventé nueva firma. Pero se las voy. Bueno. Sí, se las voy a mostrar, men. El 2042 que regalan con el Plus. Ah, sí, es cierto, men. Es que regalan esa chingadera. Men, si lo regalan está bien, men. Pero es que el chile, men, esa madre está bien rota, men. Bueno, a ver, yo lo considero bien pinche roto, men. Pero eso, men. Ya tengo nueva firma, men. Ya inventé una nueva firma. Fucking the fake. Aquí lo pueden ver. Fucking the fake. Inventé una nueva firma, men. Y por cierto, Doctor Sat, hice un nuevo rediseño de la faquencia. Por si no lo sabías, compadre. Ya hice nuevo rediseño de la faquencia. Ok, perfecto. Aquí ya se me está complicando. Lo critica Pose. Si yo no voy a pagar, pero eso sí está gratis, lo voy a jugar. Dale, men. Joya, entonces. Sí. Vi el dibujo en Twitter, nice. Algo que no te guste, men, para repararlo en el próximo dibujo que le haga. Porque aquí ya el artista nos dijo que no le gustó y pues lo voy a intentar corregir para el próximo, men. Porque, men, yo activamente quiero mejorar, men. Al chile yo sí activamente quiero mejorar y por eso les pido tanta retroalimentación a ustedes, men. Por eso es que dibujo también en stream, men, para que cuando me salga una duda, preguntarle a ustedes qué es lo que opinan, men. ¿Qué sienten que quedaría mejor? Ok, perfecto. Bueno, yo no sé un carajo de diseño, pero tal vez otra pose, una de combate o algo que le guste, te haga más dinámico. Oh, perfecto. Perfecto, va. Porque ahorita más que nada quería como para presentación, ¿no? Porque, bueno, aquí no lo tiene, men. Pero sí pienso hacer el fucking con equipo táctico, con fornitura y todas esas chingaderas, men, de combate. A lo mejor debería hacerle más delgado el brazo, no sé, a ver. $15 minutos. 15 minutos para... Oye, no uses estos 15 minutos, ¿para qué? Contando el tiempo. Ay, no, ya sé que... Ya sé para qué chingados estás ahorrando puntos. Bueno, voy a intentar avanzar todo lo que pueda, chingada madre. Me lleva a la verga, Artes, no. Te voy a tasajear, cabrón. El tiempo corre, esponja. Solo estoy contando, no estoy relacionando los puntos. Oh, tengo miedo, como quiera. Que tú estés contando, que tú estés con una cuenta regresiva me da miedo. Y tengo motivos de sobra para tenerlo. Hace gracia, ya pasaron más de 2 chats y nadie lo dijo. A ver, solo estoy contando. A ver, ¿qué? Ya pasaron 2 chats y nadie... Oh, no. ¡Tengo miedo! ¡Tengo miedo! ¿Quién eres? ¿Quién eres? ¿Quién eres? ¡Identifícate, guiño marico! ¿Quién eres? Ya te dije que soy... Ya te dije que soy yo. ¿Quién eres? Soy yo. ¿Quién eres? Soy yo. ¿Quién eres? Que soy yo. Que soy yo, guiño marico. A ver, perfecto. Pero eso, men. ¿Qué me cuentan, men? ¿Cómo va su día, men? Ok, perfecto, perfecto. Lo típico. Neutro, lo típico que hice fue revisar cómo grabar fragmentos para el BC de Pokémon. Ok, perfecto, men. Creo que ya lo entendí al final del vaginón. Lo único que hice fue revisar cómo grabar fragmentos. Ok, perfecto. No, creo que voy a tener que hacer la mano de este cero, men. 20, oh no. Ok, voy a dejar la mano aquí, perfecto. Ok, perfecto, perfecto, perfecto. Ah, mamá huevo, ya, finalmente funcionó la chingadera. Hola, Kira, ¿cómo andamos? ¿Qué onda, Kira? ¿Cómo andamos? Bene, bene. Bien, bien. Perfecto, compadre, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Ok, perfecto, perfecto. Mono sucio, vas a ser follado. Ah, bueno. Coca. Veneno. Fabricador de piedras de riñón. En el riñón. Ok, perfecto, perfecto. Perfecto. Fui por café y el regresé por cierto. Fucking, ¿cómo sigues con la medicación? Pues ya bien, men. Ya mi organismo se acostumbró del todo al... Ya se acostumbró un poco del todo a la nueva medicación, men. Y pues ya ando joya, men. Ya, sí te digo, mi organismo ya se acostumbró y ya no tiene efectos adversos como que la lucidez me pegue puerco, men. Men, te digo que las primeras veces la lucidez se sentía bien pinche rara, men. La lucidez se sentía bien pinche rara, men. Las primeras veces. Siento que he mejorado mucho con las manos. Sí, siento que he mejorado bastante con las manos, men. Bueno, ojalá y se sienta mejor. Men, pues es que, ¿qué te digo, men? Ya he terminado bastantes dibujos, men. En cosa de 2 semanas, men. En cosa de 2 semanas ya he terminado bastantes dibujos. Vamos a hacer un repaso, men, de todos los dibujos que he terminado. Y que quizás haya empezado desde, no sé, desde febrero, pero que ya recién estoy terminando. Por ejemplo, de la Faquencia lo terminé en un solo día, men. 1 día y medio. Hice un poco de trampa, pero solo hice la cabeza y la mano del boceto, entonces... Vamos a decir que fue como un día. Pero men, sí, ya llevo bastantes... Sí me está ayudando bastante con la motivación, men, en general. Vamos a ir al Twotter, men. Al Twota. Y vamos a ver los dibujos, men, que he hecho hasta ahora, men. O sea, men. De los que he terminado, vaya. Ah, no, este no. Fucking NFT, no. A ver. Bueno, pues esa de la Faquencia, que lo terminé en un solo día, men. Me decía, si he dado retweet a un montón de pendejadas, men. Hice este dibujo en papel, men, cuando estaba aburrido, men. Hice el fucking culo, men. Terminé el fucking culo, el fanart de la Plat. El dibujo de la no sé cómo. Hice la chistosada del amado comunista. El dibujo de las sopas, el dibujo común de las sopas. Y eso, men. He avanzado bastante en los dibujos, men. Desde que he empezado a tomar medicamento, men. A ver, ¿qué hice? 25, ya estoy satisfecho. Llevas todo el rato sin mostrar la pantalla. Nice, yo retomé el bajo que al chile quiero aprender. No cuesta nada de mover los dedos. Sí, es cierto, ¿verdad? Que no habían estado viendo, ¿verdad? 5 minutos en la pantalla sin mostrar nada, hijos de la chingada. Los quiero un chingo, cabrones. Reacciona a algo. ¿Sabes? Hubiera seguido sin mostrar la pantalla. La puta madre. A ver, vamos a reaccionar a tu chingadera. A ver, vamos a guardar. Vamos a guardar, vamos a desconectar la tableta, vamos a cerrar. Chingada madre. ¡Chingada madre! ¡Chingada madre, Artesno! A ver, perfecto. Navegador, perfecto. Así, vamos a reaccionar a tu chistosada, que ya seguro no tienes puntos para otra chistosada, así que eso. A la verga, ¿qué? ¿Por qué está en coreano, men? Ok, eso es diferente, men.
light streaking in through a single dingy porthole. Someone bangs
Knock,
on the
knock.
door to his office, pleading that he hurry up. Hot sweat trails
Ok, perfecto, men. A ver, vamos a ponerlo de recompensa. Perfecto.
down his forehead as he finds the book he's looking for. He cracks it open, flipping through the pages, scanning each one, desperately committing them.
El hombre que hizo una cirugía a 16 soldados moribundos siguiendo las instrucciones del manual. A la verga.
Below him, over a dozen injured men lie in pools of their own cooling blood. The hulking man emerges from a nearby hallway and sets out to work immediately.
Ah, la puta madre, Artesno. ¿Algo más, Artesno? ¿Algo más? A ver, vamos a ver. Squat Hypercut. Ok, ese es Cinch.
This video's got like spoilers in it.
¿No es Cinch, man? Ah, qué raro, man. Human Rolls, man. Ok, perfecto.
Inflating lungs and yanking out pieces of shrapnel. He'd hoped it would never come to this. He'd done everything he could to avoid actually operating on anyone. But now that he was here, there were no other options. In the fog of war, when you're laying on the cold deck of a military ship and can feel your body growing colder by the minute, you don't ask the doctor who comes to save you if he passed all his exams. You don't wonder if he is who he says he is. How would you feel if you learned that the man you just entrusted your life to was an imposter? That he'd only learned how to perform your surgery a few minutes ago from a manual. How does a fraud end up as the only surgeon of a Canadian Royal Navy ship in wartime?
Oh boy. Imposter sus. It's very sus. Oye, men, el canal está bonito, men. Lo voy a decir. Who's Waldo?
Hey, do you want to trick your friends into thinking you're a German watchmaker? I don't know about the watch, but with our video sponsor, Babbel, one of the top language learning apps in the world, you can break that language barrier easily. Babbel teaches using real-world conversations.
Hola,
so you can
hello.
learn the fundamentals while practicing phrases native speakers use
Impostor
on a daily
very
basis.
sus.
Each lesson is interactive, and they only take 10 minutes. So, learning a new language is quick and engaging. Babbel designs their lessons for all kinds of learners, including...
A ver, vamos a saltarnos el sponsor, men.
Hallo, ich bin Bru. Wo ist the cafe? Danke, which in March 1951, Dr. Joseph Sear, boarding a bus in Boston heading north for St. John, New Brunswick, newly acquired documents in hand, was anxious to present himself to the Royal Canadian Navy.
Army.
When he finally arrived at the recruitment office, he was tired, hungry, and nearly out of cash. But he straightened his back and announced, I am Dr. Joseph Sear of this province, and I feel it is my duty, now that we are again in war, to volunteer my services where they can be of most help. The war in Korea had been waging for the last year. A conflict that would continue to
es una historia sobre la guerra de Corea. Eso es interesante.
Lives of over 5 million people, and Joe knew that the recruiter sitting at the desk in front of him would be in no position to turn away a qualified doctor. In fact, Joe was immediately whisked away to Ottawa, Canada's capital, and questioned not on his medical knowledge, but on whether or not he would use his position to experiment on wounded seamen. Satisfied that he would not practice unethically, Joe was sent back to St. John, where measurements were taken for his uniform before his trip to Halifax to begin work. The other doctors there were cool and distant to him, but he later learned that it was only because they thought he was Quebecois and spoke French while they all spoke English. It turns out English and French people dislike one another not only in Europe, but all over the planet.
Fucking French.
Joe was eventually transferred to the HMCS Magnificent in Halifax. One day, while strolling through the streets and alleyways of Halifax, the quiet din of Dartmouth town across the harbor, and under the shadow of the citadel, he saw a woman sitting quietly among the daffodils and dandelions of a local park. Joe knelt down, plucked a dandelion, and while looking into the eyes of the young woman, struck up a conversation. We used to play that if you could blow all the fluff off a dandelion, you got your wish, said Joe. We used to say it meant you were in love, she replied. No, he chided. You hold the dandelion under someone's chin, and if it makes the chin all yellow, he's in love. She instantly reached down, picked a single dandelion, and held it gently under his chin. Did you know you were in love? She asked. Her name was Catherine, and was a nurse in the Navy. A whirlwind romance ensued. Joe knew that he had to marry her, but but he couldn't until he told her his secret, a deep and dark secret that might not only destroy his chance at love, but also destroy his very freedom. Before he could summon the courage to tell her, new orders were shoved into his hand by an uncaring naval officer. He was to report to the HMCS Cayuga as a medical officer before sailing off for the coast of war-torn Korea. On board the Cayuga, he was immediately under scrutiny. As a new member of the officer corps on the ship, and as the person plugging up bullet wounds, the sailors aboard the destroyer had a vested interest in their new medical officer's skill. Soon, he was called into the captain's cabin, as his new commander, James Plomer, was complaining of a terrible aching pain in a few of his teeth. Joe assured the captain that he could remove the offending teeth immediately, but he needed to gather his equipment below decks. After what seemed like an eternity, the captain sent his executive officer down to Joe's quarters, demanding what was taking so long. He assured them that his office was simply disorganized, and he needed a moment longer. After some pleading from the exec, Joe returned to the captain's quarters, administered a healthy dose of Novocaine, and deftly yanked out the two clearly rotten teeth.
Ow!
The HMS Cayuga offered close artillery support to soldiers on the ground. Typically, the cannons were enough to prevent any friendly casualties. But one September afternoon, a Korean junk saddled up the Cayuga carrying a boatload of injured Korean soldiers. Joe was watching the ship's engine idle when an officer retrieved him. Joe looked upon the pile of bleeding men as the captain stood next to him. You willing, Joe? It is not required. But the pitiful faces of dying men, regardless of what side they were on, were enough to turn his heart, and he resolved to help them. The 19 soldiers were gravely injured and would certainly die without his help. Even if his help could only give them the slightest chance of survival, he could not sit idle. Dr. Joseph Sear descended into a lifeless realm that cool September afternoon. His sickbay, a waiting room before the afterlife. The skipper and navigator up at the bridge, watching a storm sail toward them, desperately held the ship steady as every cry of pain echoing up from below decks reminded them of death. If they lost control of the ship, it wouldn't matter what Joe did. Those men would not survive. By the time Joe was done, the morning sun was cresting over the horizon. The Japanese mainland stretching wide across a little porthole down in the medical bay. By the end of his stint, Joe had performed 16 surgeries, including open chest surgery. He wrote a letter back to Catherine in Halifax, hoping she would hear of his exploits. And at the same time, he was approached by a young press officer interested in a colorful story from the Army newspaper. The officer told the doctor that his story would be in Army dispatches and would also be shown in his hometown's local papers. Despite being from Grand Falls, New Brunswick, he insisted that the paper be shown in Halifax with the hopes that Catherine would see it too. At the same time, however, in the sleepy town of Edmundston, a short drive north of Grand Falls, New Brunswick, another Dr. Joseph Sear was answering some phone calls. I read a newspaper in Halifax that said you saved a bunch of kids in Korea. No, not you?
Oh boy.
Your son then? At first, Joe thought it must be some perplexing cosmic coincidence. There are lots of Sears in the world, he mused. But then, after learning that he was the only Dr. Joseph Sear in the whole of Canada, and seeing a photograph of the alleged Dr. Sear, he realized the perplexing truth. Why, this is my friend, Brother John Payne, of the Brothers of Christian Instruction. The papers, without consulting the Navy, had published the article on the mystery surgeon's exploits in not only Halifax, but Toronto as well. This drew the attention of some higher-ups, and they quickly unraveled a spiderweb of lies that led an imposter to the position of chief medical officer on a military ship. The question remained, though, who was this fake Dr. Sear? In the summer of 1950, Dr. Cecil Boyce Hammond, after leaving the law program at Northeastern Law School in Boston, arrived at the Brothers of Christian Instruction in Alfred, Maine, as a convert with a PhD in zoology from Purdue. The monks were elated and immediately introduced him into the order. The first thing Cecil did was suggest that the brothers grow their small junior college, which specialized in teachers' education, into a full-time four-year college. The other brothers thought this was a grand idea and let Cecil take the name Brother John Payne before beginning his valiant yet extraordinarily pushy time at the college. This is where Brother John Payne met Dr. Joseph Sear. Winter in the small town of Alfred was a cozy affair, with snow hedging in the inhabitants for months at a time. The two became fast friends, chatting about all sorts of subjects, medical information especially, growing closer over time. As John neared the end of his probationary period with the college, Joe asked him if he could do him a favor. Brother John was American, and as a Canadian, Joe needed help to acquire the right papers to get a license to practice medicine in the United States. "Give me your records and credentials, and I can, doctor. All of them. The more, the quicker," said Brother John, and soon he had a stack of papers weighing nearly a pound altogether. Soon after, a notice was posted announcing the staff assignments for the new college. Unfortunately, to the intense chagrin of Brother John, he was not put in charge of the college, nor was he given the head of a department. He was merely a biology teacher. Expanding the college into a 4-year program was his idea. How could they pass him up? In a rage over being ignored, he stormed off to his room to begin packing. On his way out, he noticed a bottle of wine used for mass, and, in a fit of anger, drank the entire bottle in 2 swift gulps, all in front of a bewildered colleague. I mean, we've all been there.
Oh, no, boy.
Then, the soon-to-be former member of the college stomped out the front door, where he saw another colleague sitting in a station wagon. "Did they fix it yet?" asked Brother John. "Fix what?" said the young man in the driver's seat. "That whirring noise, like the transmission is about to explode," replied John. "I'll race the motor for you." The brother in the car immediately ejected himself from the vehicle, while John plopped himself in the driver's seat and turned the engine. "Tell them this. Say I hope their rotten college will prove such a failure that the crash will be heard all the way into the Vatican. Now look out." And with that, Brother John sped off into the night, leaving behind the school he regarded as his own, and a baffled brotherhood bewildered by the boldest burglary they had ever beheld. Outside of Lawrence, Massachusetts, there is a hand-painted sign. It reads, "Welcome to Lawrence. Our motto, see Dante's Inferno, Canto 3, Line 9. If we look it up, we find the passage, 'All hope abandon, ye who enter here.' The
A la verga, yo, literalmente yo. A la
mythological
verga el
words
paquete.
resting above the entrance to hell. If you were very lucky, you might have seen the lurching figure of a stray 29-year-old hauling up a dark sign outside a hometown he always dreamed of outgrowing. Almost 30 years before Brother John sped off into the distance, a boy was born to a French-Canadian father and an Irish-American mother in the little town of Lawrence, just outside Boston, on December 12, 1921. As the first male son of the family, his father was elated to finally have an heir and treated his son as such. The boy was named after his father, becoming Ferdinand Waldo Demara Jr., and on the day of his 4th birthday, dear old dad announced boldly to all present that, beginning tonight, he is to be called Mr. Demara. To an applauding audience, young Ferdinand, going by Fred, stepped onto a table, fetched a handful of roses, and gave one to each of the family's servants. Such was Fred's pseudo-aristocratic upbringing, and it reflected in his vision of himself. However, the nouveau riche lifestyle became more difficult to uphold as his family's wealth declined during the Great Depression. Young Fred hated the look of patched shoes, seeing them as an insult to his station. In the coming years, Fred left home to join a monastery of Trappist monks. He moved around a bit with the Brothers of Charity, another monkhood where he taught 4th grade. Eventually, he got into an argument with the head brother, stole a car, some money, and ran off to join the army. It was 1941. Now, as it turns out, war is a pain in the rear at best and a death trap at worst. Not at all the kind of place a formerly wealthy boy born with a silver spoon in his mouth could make a name for himself. It wasn't all bad, however. Aside from parades in the early morning, calisthenics, and the possibility of being sent to fight in an actual real-world war, Fred made some friends while he was there. One day, while in Anthony's hometown of New Orleans, the duo went to his childhood home to meet his mother, who took out a box full of mementos and documents outlining Anthony's life. Anthony thought that his friend Fred would die of boredom looking over his old papers, but Fred was enthralled. He pored over his friend's documents. "What do you see in those things?" Anthony asked. "I see a whole life ahead of me," Fred replied. A few weeks later, after sanding down a blister on his heel until it bled in order to get out of marching orders, Fred snuck out using a forged day pass and took the bus down to New Orleans. Surprising Anthony's mother, he appeared at her front doorstep, saying he wanted to take a look at his friend's papers again. He pored over the little box of documents until late in the night. Anthony's mother left for bed, and in the morning, all she found was a note thanking her for her kindness, and the box containing her son's life back in his room where it belonged. Luckily for Fred, she didn't bother checking to see if there was anything left inside. If you'd asked him why he did it, Fred would have been very clear. He hated the army, he was still wanted for car theft, and the only way to get out of his responsibilities was to become someone else. And become someone else he did, and he did so over and over. First, under the guise of Anthony Agnolia, he joined the Abbey of Our Lady of Gethsemane in Kentucky. Then, after being caught in a lie, he bolted for New Mellery Abbey near Dubuque, Iowa.
Me encanta como el título es solo una fracción de la historia, men. ¿Qué pedo?
Shortly after that, he returned home, where his father chastised him for deserting the army in a time of war, a capital offense. Instead of turning himself in like a good boy, Fred joined the Navy, hoping to quickly rise through the ranks as a medical officer. However, despite doing well through basic training, he was rejected for advanced medical training because he didn't have the right education. So, once more, Fred made his plans to escape military service. After doctoring documents, scamming officials for school transcripts, and collecting the appropriate paperwork, he strolled down to the docks and left a note on the side of the water, begging forgiveness, hoping that his former comrades would assume he drowned. Fred Waldo Demera was dead. And now, only Dr. Robert Linton French, PhD in psychology, was left. Fred worked under French's name for as long as he could, bouncing around different Christian colleges, doing sundry work, teaching and cooking here and there. Unfortunately for Fred, however, he was caught by military police in 1945 and imprisoned for desertion. Lucky for him, his original sentence of 6 years was cut down to 18 months for good behavior. After being released from prison, Fred got a job working nights at the Massachusetts General Eye and Ear Infirmary. This was a dream come true, as now he had unabashed access to the infirmary's mailroom, and he quickly set about to create a new identity. Fred had heard about Dr. Cecil Boyce Heyman on the bus and thought he was as good a man as any to be.
Oh,
Fred forged
boy.
the signatures of doctors who worked at the clinic and used office stationery to acquire Dr. Cecil's credentials. So now, with all the documents he needed, he set off for Northeastern Law School in Boston. From here, we know some of the story. Fred, under Dr. Cecil's name, joined the Brothers of Christian Instruction, met Dr. Joseph Sear, and acquired his documents before speeding off into the night. We also know that after that, Fred, now as Dr. Joseph Sear, joined the Canadian Navy and met the love of his life, Catherine, on that sunny day in Halifax. Many have purported that Demara had a photographic memory and a genius-level IQ. After only a frantic reading of the medical textbooks he had in his fraudulently acquired office, he was able to successfully perform dental work, open chest surgery, and a litany of other life-threatening injuries. Whether or not he truly possessed an exceptional brain is hard to confirm. What isn't, however, is that no matter what identity he was wearing, Fred Waldo Demara was no doubt a master of charisma. After the news of Dr. Joseph Sear was an imposter, the authorities came for Fred quickly. He was transferred into the custody of another Navy vessel and immediately shipped back to Canada, where he was interrogated, still claiming to be a surgeon who, for one reason or another, had to enter the Canadian Navy under a false identity. The Royal Canadian Navy, not wanting to embarrass itself and learning that a man with no medical knowledge whatsoever had somehow infiltrated their ranks, performing over a dozen surgeries, all successful, discharged him at once, hoping that with his departure, all memory of this humiliation would fade. After Fred returned home to America, nursing the wound of being captured, he sold his life story to Life magazine, who regaled the world with the exploits of Ferdinand Waldo Demara, the great imposter. It did little to help him feel better, and eventually he turned more and more to drink. He took on odd jobs here and there under this or that disguise, but by 1957, as he taught at a local school in Maine, he was recognized from his story in life and arrested by the FBI on February 14th. Fortunately, he was only arrested on charge of not having a teaching license and was given 2 months probation. In 1960, he was cast in a film called Hypnotic Eye, in which he learned he was a terrible, god-awful actor, despite acting basically his entire life. And in the same year, Robert Crichton wrote a biography on him. From then to the time of his death on June 7th, 1981, Fred lived in relative obscurity.
¡Jesús!
His newfound fame putting a stop to the majority of his
Buenas, General Fucking. ¿Ya haremos la operación en el desierto de Gobi? Sí. Y de ahí pasaremos a Chechenia. Buenas, compadre. Buenas, aquí os. ¿Cómo andamos, compadre?
He never saw Catherine again. His medical degree might have been fake.
¿Qué te parece, men? Ah, que la verga. Tengo que restringir eso, men. Tengo que restringir eso a solo 3, men. Pero pues ya valió verga el dibujo, men. Ya, ¿para qué? Ya. ¿Sabes qué? Ya de una, men. Ya de una lo voy a restringir a 1 por persona, men. Porque... Artés, no eres la mamada. A ver. A ver, panel de control de creador. No. Y finalmente terminé un video. ¡Nice, man! ¡Pásalo! Pásalo, pero en corto, papirre. Pásalo, pero en corto. Puta madre, me silenciaron esto, man. ¿Qué fue? ¿Qué fue lo que me silenciaron, man? Bueno, ya checaré después. A ver. Configuración, recompensas para espectador, emotes, recompensas, puntos de canal. Ok, perfecto, man. Muy bien, men. Ya, vamos a cambiarlo aquí en vivo, men. Baile puto, reacciona a algo. Editar. Enfriamiento y límites, ok. Límites por stream, 2. Límite. Usuario, 2. Vamos a dejarlo en... A ver, vamos a dejarlo en 2 en general. No, 3. Vamos a dejarlo en 3. No, 2. Perfecto. Pero eso sí te lo voy a valer, Artes, no. Eso sí te lo voy a valer cuando alguien se pregunte por qué está todo tan restringido. Y claro, será por mí. Te voy a matar. Pero pasa el video en fa, papirri. A ver, perfecto, man.
But his love was definitely a surgeon. Remember, get Babbel with up to 60% off your subscription by clicking the link in the description below and start speaking.
Ok, perfecto. Ahora sí es Sech, a huevo. Sech, here. Ok, perfecto. Ahora sí vamos a ver esto. ¿Qué mierda es esto, weón?
Space strategy game about selling heroin and illegally harvested kidneys on the black market, making money off.
A ver, vamos a primero ver el video del Coffee, man. Vamos a ver el video del Coffee. Y vamos a reaccionar a él, man. Mi opinión en resumen. ¡Oh, no! ¡Yo me que no! ¡No! Hola.
Meniki es un juego de aventuras japonés lanzado en 2004, desarrollado por Kitiyama.
De primeras, men. Suscrito, men. Todas, men. A la chingada, men. Y ya de una vez el like, men.
Y publicado por platicando. El juego sigue la historia de una niña solitaria llamada Madotsuki que vive en un pequeño apartamento.
No, men, pues... Ah, sí, es cierto. Tengo que cambiar las chingaderas del título, men. Jovalio. José fue de sabático. En el guión super viejo, weón. Sabático. Yo tengo que editar algunas cositas del guión, men. Ah, no, chatting. Tengo que editar algunas cositas del guión de Metro y hacer los otros guiones, men. Ok, chatting. Yo creo que después del stream los voy a hacer, men.
En una ciudad desconocida. La vida de Madotsuki es mundana y solitaria, pero su verdadera vida ocurre en sus sueños.
Ahora ando haciendo el de Rec 4 en 3 días. Sale para mí. Sí, me apuro. Nice, man.
El juego se desarrolla principalmente dentro de los sueños de Madotsuki, donde ella explora diversos mundos surrealistas y extraños. El objetivo principal del juego es explorar el mundo de los sueños de Madotsuki y recoger varios objetos y elementos que se encuentran en diferentes lugares. Al recoger ciertos elementos, Madotsuki puede acceder a nuevas áreas y mundos dentro de sus sueños. A medida que Madotsuki explora sus sueños, también encuentra diferentes personajes, algunos de los cuales pueden proporcionar información y pistas para avanzar en el juego.
Ok, es un buen guión, men. Si te soy sincero, es un muy buen guión, men.
El mundo de los sueños de Madotsuki es vasto y variado, con muchos lugares y personajes diferentes para descubrir. Cada área tiene su propia sensación y estilo, desde un desierto rojo y un bosque surrealista hasta un laberinto oscuro y una...
Mira, ahí te pudiste haberlo hecho un poquito menos un poquito menos opaco, men, pero creo que es para que no haya spoilers, así que está bien. Ahí está joya.
ciudad laberíntica. Madotsuki
Men,
puede
hablo como si yo fuera un pinche experto haciendo videos. Qué pendejo estoy,
viajar entre estas áreas a través de puertas que se encuentran en su apartamento en el mundo real. Aunque el juego no tiene una historia clara y lineal, hay ciertos temas y símbolos que se repiten a lo largo del juego. Por ejemplo, muchas
Se opacó mucho en 720, se opacó... Sí, ya es lo que estoy viendo.
áreas y personajes tienen una sensación de melancolía y soledad, lo que sugiere que el mundo de los sueños de Madotsuki puede ser una forma de escapar de su vida solitaria en el mundo real. También hay
También los que dicen que en realidad el mundo está en el apocalipsis y ella no sale de su apartamento porque hay criaturas que la van a devorar.
referencias a temas como la muerte y la alienación social, lo que sugiere que Madotsuki puede estar lidiando con problemas emocionales y psicológicos en su vida real. El juego es conocido por su estilo artístico único, con gráficos en 2D que combinan elementos surrealistas y grotescos. Los diseños de personajes son a menudo extraños e inquietantes, y los escenarios pueden ser oscuros y perturbadores. A pesar de esto, el juego también tiene momentos de belleza y serenidad, con áreas como un campo nevado y un océano rosado. Yume Miki también es notable por su enfoque en la exploración y la atmósfera en lugar de una trama lineal y definida. El jugador está libre de explorar los mundos de los sueños de Madotsuki a su propio ritmo, lo que le da al juego una sensación de misterio y descubrimiento. A pesar de la falta de una trama clara, el juego tiene un seguimiento devoto de los fanáticos que han creado teorías y especulaciones sobre el significado detrás de los diversos símbolos y temas presentes en el
Pues
juego.
está bastante bien el
Yume
video.
Miki es un juego de aventuras surrealista que sigue a una niña mientras explora sus sueños y colecciona objetos. El juego se centra en la
Al final quedó malo, no sé por qué. Sí, se escucha como medio
exploración
estática,
de la
men.
atmósfera
Pero está bien, men. Para ser tu primer video está bastante joya,
y
men.
es conocido por su estilo artístico.
¿Qué quieres,
único y su
verga?
enfoque
Ahorita después del stream te comento, men. Ahorita después del stream te comento.
en el mundo de los sueños.
Es una chistosada que
Aunque
quiero
no
hablar
tiene
contigo,
una
pero
trama
en
clara
privado.
y lineal, el juego tiene muchos temas y símbolos.
Ahorita por privado te lo
Muchas
mando, men.
gracias por ver el vídeo, espero te guste.
Va.
Puedes suscribirte, dejar un like o un comentario.
Pero nice, man. Está bastante bien para hacer tu primer video. Nice, man. Perfecto.
Soft products. It was made with the intent to spite anyone with functioning eyes. Set in a dystopian neo-capitalist society, where the value of human life has plummeted.
Men, este juego lo había visto hace mucho tiempo y verga, men. Qué cosa rara, men.
Play as Pink Nukem, a bionically enhanced super assassin who played too many video games and must purge the world with the powers of trimping and bee-hopping. For a bit of backstory, I was browsing Steam a few ago looking for my next epic and rad game to play. Alright buddy, you got two options here. You can play,
Ultra kill.
or you can play. I mean, I got both, but I want to do this one
Verga, men.
first.
El fucking le gustó, ahora soy más feliz. Men, eso se siente muy bien, men. Que consideres mi opinión como algo relevante es algo bonito, men. Muchas gracias, men. A la verga, ¿qué es esto, men? ¿Qué es este pinche juego, men? Lo quiero jugar, weón.
Aesthetically speaking, this is one of the most bizarre games I've ever seen. So if you thought a game like Raiden's Revenge was edgy and violent, bro, you have no idea. We start the first cutscene with our protagonist undergoing a rain simulation when we receive a mysterious call. What's up, loser? It's Little Caesars again. Just kidding. This is Pizza Hut. Since you're a depressed homie, we got a new job for you. The infectious Black Friday has spread to other months. It's only a matter of time before it infects other days of the week too. It's chaos out there.
Mi cerebro después de media coca de piña del videojuego, básicamente, men.
Mission is to assassinate the marketing Excelsiites of Night City. Wake up, samurai.
Wake up, samurai.
It gets out of hand.
How much am I getting paid again?
Good luck, and may the Schwartz be with you. Here we see the title screen hinting at future automobilia. One of the first things you'll notice starting out is that the game game thinks it belongs in an art museum or something. It's got this frame around the screen at all times that displays how much of a punk ass you've been. Because I already died like 10 times, it gave me the trypophobia one. Instead of being stupid and docking your health bar, this game is based and lets you eat dead bodies. Oh boy, cannibalism? Ha, I love weed. The second thing you might notice is what the fuck am I looking at? I like barely even have to edit this. The game deep fries itself for me. No, I don't want to install Counter-Strike Source. See, that's what everyone says about this. It just boils down to haha drugs. Game journalists see a healing item and they're all like,
ok, tiene MG42, automáticamente es bueno, men.
oh dude, that soda's got me real fucked up right now. I think I
Ven,
got
automáticamente es bueno porque tiene la MG42.
standard because I 100% agree. This is indeed what happens when you give a game developer the wrong prescription. And I fucking love it. Thank you, Walgreens. Did I mention that the reloading mechanics seem like they were designed by someone with Parkinson's? Because you gotta hold right click and yank the mouse towards you. The Microsoft Paint text also seems to support this theory. So we kill Big Pharma and get taken down to the Paradise City, where the grass is and the textures ain't pretty. These levels may not have any checkpoints, but they're...
Podrías probarlo en directo, parece divertido para el directo. Men, legítimamente si lo estás diciendo es porque es una mala idea. Y en este caso me gusta la idea. Si lo estás diciendo, men. Si lo estás diciendo es porque parece una muy mala idea. Y me gusta la idea. Pero eventualmente cuando lo consiga completamente legal, guiño guiño, este es el austriaco chistoso como idiota chistoso.
It's pretty well. Each mission has many different ways of tackling it, so you almost never end up getting stuck. Take for example the car level. So we enter the passenger seat of a 95 Chevy Caprice and meet the driver. He claims that he needs some air and requests that we point the AC in his direction. We go to the glove compartment and locate the developer's meds. We're making a hard right at Saratoga. Out of curiosity, I checked to see if the police were still on us. Uh-oh. Busted. Just act natural and you'll have nothing to worry about. No, Ossifer, it's high.
Solo recuerdo una imagen del menú y saber que hacer una cosa parecía un puzzle, verga.
Where are you? Shit, they're on to us. Many escape attempts later and we finally arrive at your home address. Oh no, average-sized pit bull alert. Oh god, oh no, strong lady. Here we meet a new enemy type, the grimy-ass hoe. She'll completely disregard your vehicle and come at you with a knife. Once dispatched, she'll leave behind a cloud of hot chip dust. So you infiltrate through the garage and take out the first man. Next target.
Esa madre mata a cualquiera que tenga ataques epilépticos, men. Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Buenas, Víctor, ¿cómo andamos, compadre?
Oh my god.
Chapter 2.
The corpse say to the killer, oh please, carry on. What could this... KYS. I mean, yeah, I'm a fan of them. Ah, that's a lot
Funkos?
of action
What?
figures you got there, bro.
What?
Oh no. What is your...
Hi, welcome to GameStop.
Oh shit, sorry, I Freudian shut. Yo, is that cat... oh my god.
What?
Okay, yeah, no, I'm fine. What? Oh, of course the entire neighborhood is a pentagram. This is an anti-rapture. One of my favorite aspects about this level is all its trademark locations. Some of these famous landmarks include Bin Laden's compound. As much as I would love to hang out and chill with the man himself, I think it's about time we move on to the Egypt level. Turning around and heading the wrong direction, Chronicles, we locate a fisherman's hut, or as I like...
Yo estoy bien, terminé el examen de atención primaria de salud y terminé con dos exámenes de 3, ahora falta el jefe final. Nice, compadre, nice. Perfecto, que estés saliendo adelante con tu carrera de medicina, mamalón.
The home of challenge piscine.
Hey there, stranger. I assume thou art a fan of masterfully baiting. A man scorned by this uncaring earth may find solace in the sea. Yes, I used to be a CEO, but my line was cut. As the old saying goes, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, and crash the stock market. Feel free to grab my rod. Wait, what? Take my fishing pole and let all your worries wash away.
We head outside.
Tiene pesca, automáticamente es Gotti, man. Esta madre tiene pesca, en automático la chingadera es Gotti, man. Ya no hace falta más, man.
Acquainted with what marine biologists refer to as the ocean. They always say there's millions of fish in the sea, but what about the B or the D? With this fishing,
man, tiene pesca, automáticamente Gotti, man.
Profits, just like the harvested organs of the innocent. All the fish you catch can be sold on the stock market, making this marine-based Fortune 500 one of the most efficient ways of...
El examen Farmacología clínica, necesito un mínimo de 8 puntos. ¡Ay, cabrón! No mames, eso sí es un chingo, weón.
Earning money. So after returning to the mainland and getting our forklift certification, we tactically convinced the guards to let us in. The rest of this level's really cool. I like the part where I forget what happens in it. Around this point, I was alerted about a couple of fun and interesting secrets the game had to offer. According to the scripture, if you head to this very specific location and play the game how it was meant to be played, wake up, sheeple.
Wake up, sheeple!
We enter the Quora domain.
How high?
What's the developer?
Very.
Jimothy? Like, this game is so bizarre that your editing is going to be like fucking normal.
¡Oh, la verga!
What makes you say that? Heading up to the Orb of Confusion, as in I'm confused as why I thought this would be a good idea. We get duped into activating the game's secret hardest difficulty that I forgot how to turn off.
Now you're probably wondering what the fuck that was for.
Wondering what the fuck that was for, we confusedly and misguidedly head up to the police cult headquarters.
Make shit up.
You don't serve food? I thought this was a restaurant. Get it? Because it's a police station.
This game's a head trip.
Oh yeah, it's a migraine.
Are you bee hopping right now?
It's hard
Kind
to
of.
explain. Oh yeah, you see this is a movement shooter.
It's a movement shooter. Proceeds not to move while shooting.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right.
Oh no, you see I popped because it's free balloon day. Uh-oh.
Free balloon day!
Alert. Meet the actual psychopath. This mind-melting mentalist will make your eyes suffer, and your brain the sufferist. Dispatching them before the cognito hazard activates is most recommended. Speaking of cognito hazards, let's talk about upgrades, because they're fucking disgusting. The most notable bio-augmentation is known as the Grapendix. Unlike real life, the Grapendix does much more than explode. No. It kills its host in a much more stylish manner. I'm gonna preface this by saying it doesn't take much to get put on my favorites list if it's a first-person shooter with a grappling hook in it, but this one upgrade out of like 50 made this game go from uniquely bizarre Hitman-like to the most fun I've had in an FPS ever. And the Bio Thruster. Oh, don't even get me started on the Bio Thruster.
Men, este juego es algo definitivamente, men.
Experts say that if you don't own a bio thruster, you're a goo-goo gaga baby who wears diapers. Combining these two upgrades along with so many more makes you become Spider-Man, but gross.
It's like the small things on the side of the wall.
These walls have more faces than that one scene from Berserk. One can only assume this game will become equally as fucked up. Oh, this is the
Weón, este juego es algo,
grenade
men.
launcher.
Sinceramente.
Did you just kill yourself?
No. Shut up. No.
Shut up.
This game being anti-capitalist, I needed to get in the right mindset, so I watched an Amazon training video, and my aim has gotten significantly better.
Ok, es anticapitalista, automáticamente es GOTY. Ya es automáticamente GOTY porque puedes pescar y es anticapitalista, entendido, men.
Dethroning the police, we head to the easily marketable wasteland known as the shopping mall. We've got cool enemies. We've got ghoul enemies. Oh god, that's a weird fucking cat. And we've got Kyle McStockbroker from Connecticut trying his absolute hardest not to use racial slurs. To save the mall from tyranny, we must transition from Paul Blart to Small Blart using the cortical scale down. This makes the Skull Blarts much easier to deal with. You look Elon right in the face and you suddenly feel compelled to play Minecraft. You got the shot.
¿Es Elon Musk? ¿Texturas de Elon Musk?
Apparently Remington released their new ammunition for sensitive skin. And lastly, of course, we have propaganda. One might ask why things are like this, and I think one of the reasons is because of the factors involved. I'd definitely rate this an S tier level. It has really cool intricacies. You want to go to the pizza place? Epic. There ain't no pizza there. But if you go to the changing room, you stumble across this mysterious forest full of vents to crawl through. We also meet the flesh rats, as I like to call them the Germa spawn. They poison you.
Germa spawn.
Never talk to me or my family ever again. This is all seeming a little bit sus, so let's move on to another spooky secret I found. Sometimes upgrades will grant you access to parts of earlier levels, such as the Indian Burial Ground and the Creepypasta mission. What? Yeah, no, you gotta be kidding me. The fuck? Am I supposed to play the game like this? I'm genuinely freaked out right now. So we end up in Gary, Indiana, without a map.
Indiana.
And because I postponed my
Es chistoso porque tengo familia de Indiana, men.
cataract surgery a little bit too long, we stumble around in hopes of waking up. At least I came in time to see the 200th annual Ninja Festival. God damn, they're elusive. They should have just called this level Redacted SCP.
What?
All of them. Here's the
All
kicker
of
though.
them.
I only learned after the fact that I was indeed playing this entire level incorrectly. Under normal circumstances, this is what you're supposed to be seeing, and you need the flashlight to find your way out of this mess. Funny thing is, I never got the flashlight, but because I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, a red fog permeates the area at all times, which means I pulled a gamer move and unknowingly handicapped myself. And before you politely ask, yes, I do know how to parry.
Bro, escape from the darkness.
Heading up to the gamer mansion, we get captured and pinned to a surgical table. Ha, joke's on you, I already have schizophrenia. Except something was a bit different. We have been relocated to France. We're here at Build a CEO Workshop, where Bezos' friends are made. Because we are old and crotchety, we select the cane to dispose of the youngsters with. Gee, I haven't seen villagers act so friendly since I played Animal Crossing. God, that took away my fucking beehive.
Men, ¿qué pedo? Ahora, ¿por qué está jugando el Bloodborne PC1, man?
We also engage in fun elderly activities, like going to the park and throwing popcorn out for the birds. Oh look, a stream of viscous purple substance. I wonder what jokes I can make about this one. Oh god. How many copies of Old Yeller do I have to send to FromSoft to let them know that this shit is not okay? I do gotta say, I'm enjoying this version a lot more considering they cut out the worst assassination target. It really eases up on the psychological torture aspect. Yes. As an empath, I can sense that this man is deceased. Hey, Dad, how's work? Oh God, please, I'll behave.
Hey guys, it's me, Karl Marx.
Karl Marx.
What
a funny guy. What a quirkster.
My new startup called Blockbuster is sure to be a hit. Movie rentals are the future.
Yeah, I'ma just go ahead and put you out of your misery right now.
What? Men, ¿qué estoy viendo, men? Suscrito, men.
After greeting the townspeople, we head up to the bridge of subliminal messaging and meet the subscribe monster and his notification bell attack. Please, I have mouths to feed. And he's kind of jacked. And between his sessions,
man, este video es literalmente mi mente cuando no tengo medicamentos, bro. What the fuck?
In Roblox screaming, we shoot him with our 12 gauge to cure his dermatitis.
Men, la edición de este video es mi mente cuando no tengo medicamentos, weón. La puta madre.
Okay, so we assassinate the target, and because of our CEO implant set, we call them multiple times at 3 AM to milk their corpse for content.
After the Olympic taxation
of Wall Street, we go back to our humble apartment to relax after a long day's traumatizing. Oh, you done fucked it now.
Shut up, I'm watching Smosh.
There are federal agents outside your apartment. If you want out, you'll have to make your way to the building's rear exit.
Alright, and where's it located?
The back.
Back. Kill the federal agents.
Welcome back. Today on MTV Cribs, we're going to be murdering my landlord.
You ordered the large eviction notice with a side of swatting, right? Those are the only two things you CEO types do. Eat hot shit and lie.
God, this game is satisfying.
Son la verga, men. A ver, ya vengo, men, ya vengo. Que me está rugiendo la tripa, quiero comer algo mientras veo esto, men, ya vengo. Mi cerebro en drogas. A ver, listo, men.
We see the suspect, having just murdered his landlord, taking pride in his accomplishment. He projects his feelings of humans having negative value onto others, and decides to murder them with little hesitation. This may become problematic in the future.
This apartment is more complex than meets the eye. There are several recursive non-Euclidean hallways that loop back on each other, made out of various anomalous materials, such as the door dimension. Okay, I know the doctor's trying to say I was unhinged, but how do they explain this shit? I mean, yeah, I like their music, but this is getting kind of ridiculous. Alright, what is your deal? The super AI emerges stream. Oh. What? Paroxysm? What is that even? Brain frying gig? What? Leftists? Bro, what the fuck? I don't know if I would even want to continue reading. Debased! Yeah, okay. See you later, fun NPC. So we get let off with a slap on the wrist, and then data mosh our way to the next level. Sorry bro, it was a misinput. We didn't actually mean to swat you.
I just have one question. What is an orgasm?
It's when you fold a paper to look like birds and shit.
Oh, el picture estaba el soundtrack.
Can suck its juices.
The sweet life is on deck, and Mr. Mosby is back at it again, gun-zerking the LMGs. It's our job to— oh fuck. And it's our job to clear out the witnesses. I must return to my homeland, Australia. From this point onward, but also before, the levels become and have always been insane. Oftentimes they might tell an unspoken story, starting off shrouded in mysterious ambiguity, and then progressing to a far more sinister conclusion, which then leads right back to the— what the fuck? Bog business really swamps you with content. Nice toilet cleaner ASMR. Oh wait, that's the music.
What?
Oh man, they weren't lying when they said this had sloped core. I love it, it's great. How could you not have fun on this level? What a lovely quagmire. Entering the casino zone, we transition from gamers to gamblers. They'll never be prepared for my secret move, life savings attack.
Empezó a llover, murió mi internet. Ah, no te apures, men. Pero, men, seguimos viendo el video y puta, men. Es literalmente mi cerebro sin medicamentos, weón. Pero bienvenido de nuevo, Kioff, men. Bienvenido.
Whoa, I actually hit the psycho, what the hell?
Men, por cierto, ¿qué piensas del nuevo diseño de la faquencia, men?
Yeah, okay, cool. So we gamble away all of our medication and end up at—
¿Qué piensas tú del nuevo diseño de la faquencia, men? El kioff o el kioff. El F-Kio o el kioff. Te voy a llamar Kio a secas, men. Kioff. Bueno, te voy a llamar Kioff, men. El kioff, men. El kioff. El conche de su madre. El mamahuevazo. Aquí está la faquencia 2.0, men. Y pues sí, falta rediseñar al fucking, men. Pero pues eso, men. Falta rediseñar al fucking como tal. Pero pues ya estamos trabajando. O estaríamos trabajando en eso si al test no hubiera cambiado 3 recompensas de ver pendejadas. Chingada madre.
The fortress of dumbasses. This is where all the stupid idiots live. Have fun. Today I will initiate a normal conversation.
Be me.
Hermoso, ya me la digo, ya le di a predicción como te voy a matar. Lo que estoy pensando es si volver a hacer un concurso de arte de la faquencia, men. Y eso, men, volver a hacer un pinche concurso de arte de la faquencia, men. Para ver sus fanarts y chingaditas, men. Y ver qué chingado sale, men. Ya me la jalé a pinche chistoso, men.
Just ignore them and it'll stop.
Yo probablemente le entraría. Pues. Déjame ver, men. Déjame ver si lo de vender chingaderas para perros con camisas y chingaderas. Porque todos los que conozco tienen 63, hasta yo. XDF, hasta yo. Todos tienen 63. ¿A qué te refieres con que tienen 63?
Stop. Oh, bro. You're so funny and creative and
Vete a la verga, ¿qué es esto, men?
Oh my god. This is the worst.
Rule 60. Ah, ya, Rule 63. Probablemente. Rule 63. No sé, men. A mí se me hizo divertido hacer la vacancia, men. Sí, a huevo.
Why would anyone make this? This is the worst. Regaining our divine light, we gain admission to the Neuron Activator, an epic nightclub powered by excessively untired people. How do they do it? Well, why don't we stick around and find out? Knowledge acquired. We can indeed throw toilets as weapons. I wasn't even paying attention to the text on the screen. What the fuck are you talking about? Considering that this is a tactical stealth operative, we gotta take several precautions to make sure we don't get caught.
Oh, well. Oh!
Alright.
Oh,
I
well.
got a new business idea. So, we're gonna make this antivirus, right? And it's just gonna be...
Por cierto, men. Que por cierto, creo que es un bot, men. Porque lleva aquí como 3 streams y no ha dicho ni una sola palabra, men. Para mi compadre Lucent Crown, men. Numerito, si no eres un bot, identifícate. Y si no, prepárate para ser baneado. Mi cerebro a 3 AM después de comer pan con veneno para rata el videojuego. Literalmente mi cerebro sin medicamentos, men. Pero eso, men, ya di la advertencia. Cuando termine el video, si no ha dicho nada, ¡lo bañamos!
Right? It's gonna be bad. And, we're gonna pre-install it on every laptop. I did the world a favor today. After destroying John McAfee, I backwards long jumped to the cubicle mission so I can shave 3.5 seconds off my midlife crisis speedrun. Here at the office, we have a colorful cast of characters. I really like the part where Dwight pulls out his trademark size and kills everyone.
You cannot use the double gun cup for the fucking slurpee.
Being freed from the shackles of the water cooler really makes you feel like Spider-Man. No, this 9 to 5 is no longer for me. I have to take out the CEO. Elon Musk. In the center
¡Hay que matar a Elon Musk! ¡Yeah!
Complex, there's this cool door, and upon entering, there's an elevator.
Well, if it ain't the feds.
Get out of my head.
Now, if you look closely, you may notice the faint translucent circle moving to the top of the screen. This is what's known as astigmatism.
So we inherit the bastard's fortune and acquire enough wealth to unlock the house microtransaction. This is where you start off at your humble abode and 2 minutes later have to kill 3 gods. It's literally a JRPG. Let's go say hello to the new neighbors.
That's him. That's the guy that doesn't watch The Big Bang Theory on CBS.
Let's get him!
Oh, man. Not even the neighbors like me. I guess sometimes it's nice to take a little break and reflect. I guess this whole time I've just been using my weapons as some sort of defense mechanism. Everybody wants happiness. Oh, son of a bitch. Some people just have more complicated ways of obtaining it. I feel though, as long as I have this fishing pole, I think I'm gonna be alright.
Let all your worries.
Es que puedes pescar y es anticapitalista automáticamente Gotimet. This game has too many levels!
The game has 3 endings that all sort of build off of each other. The first requires you to infiltrate the Archon Grid, the only part of the game that actually gave me a headache. It's subtitled 500 hours of mind-pumping action for a good reason. The second requires you have hard mode turned on as a prerequisite, and you go to where it all began. Everyone watch out, he's got a reservation at Dorsia. Eliminating him is a top priority. What?
What doth life?
Are you
okay?
What? Okay, no, this is entertaining. You know, I'm honestly kind of surprised they didn't go the more trippy route. I mean, they could have just been like, "Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, John Squad.
What?
Today we're gonna go on a bit of a
a la verga, man.
We've made it to the funny kaleidoscope mission. oh god, what the fuck? So here,
man, esto es
you
Backrooms?
gotta watch out for the dangerous entities, like the Throngler. Oh my god. Oh, this
What?
is true hell. If hell exists, I am in it. Oh.
What? Weón, este juego es maravilloso, men. Este juego es ciertamente maravilloso, weón. Men, me está doliendo la cabeza, men, de ver esto, men. Chapter X, Ending Trauma. Men, este juego es ciertamente doloroso y me encanta, men.
The final secret mission is a trauma loop of your own creation, a demented and twisted world that lends you no access to any bio-augment you've purchased up to this point, meaning that it's just you, your weapons, and a faint light at the end of the tunnel. This level will test your skills, your wills, and your literacy. Oh yeah, we got a library. I fucking love silent reading time.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
If I were to make a meme comparison, I would say this level is like the last iteration of Mr. Incredible becoming uncanny. This gauntlet of shortcuts and mind-bendery, I would say, is the perfect way to cap off an experience like this. While the game may not be perfect, I'd say it sort of encapsulates the essence of being different, and I'd wholeheartedly recommend it. The bizarre style can scare off the weak, for they will never understand the gross core subgenre. For real though, in such a desaturated market, I'm really glad that garbage gems like this still exist.
Well,
About a 90%
esto es...
That's about it. See ya.
Thanks for watching. Well, esto fue... este pinche video fue algo. Y pues bueno, vamos a caerle... A ver si ya se fue. No se ha ido. Perfecto. Ni modo, compadre. Ni modo, mi que estimado bot, se me va. Se me va a chingar a su madre, mi estimado botcito. Mi estimado robotín. A ver, perfecto.
Misery and ill.
Set here.
Star Sector is an open-world space strategy game about selling heroin and illegally harvested kidneys on the black market, making money off misery, disruption, and political unrest, and ambushing trade convoys in deep space just to watch a planet descend into chaos. I've been playing this game on and off for years now. It's amazing, yet I don't hear many people talk about it. Star Sector is a massive project done entirely by 4 people, and it's had updates for about 9 years now, each one getting closer to their dream goal of simulating a living, breathing galaxy. Story. Okay, nobody gives a shit, so I'm gonna be quick. Right, so in Star Sector, humanity figured out faster than light travel. We colonized thousands of worlds, spanning hundreds of galaxies, using the relays from Mass Effect, which were the only practical way of crossing galaxies. They were the only practical way until suddenly, nobody knows exactly why, all the gate systems went dead. We could no longer reach the rest of humanity. This event is referred to as the collapse and marks the end of the prosperous domain era. In an isolated galaxy 206 cycles after the collapse, our story takes place. Common humanity has been replaced with ambition, desperation, and conflict. Our future is bleak, and we don't know what tomorrow might hold for us. Welcome to Star Sector. Basically, everything's a piece of shit. We're in the galactic version of the Dark Ages, but it's super fun. Nobody remembers how to make anything anymore, mainly because of DRM and copyright laws. I'm not kidding, that is the actual in-game reason. We can't reliably make new ships or machinery because all the corporations put copy protection on their design chips. Anyway, in the chaos that followed, everybody broke off into their own respective factions and keep dick-waving each other. But ultimately, nobody can consolidate enough power to wipe out or unify the competition. However, they didn't account for one thing. You. Thrown into the space sandbox, you begin as nothing but a pilot with a small fleet. Insignificant in the scale of things, but given time, practice, and some high-level maneuvers, you could be the one person to unite the sector. Or reduce it to the Stone Age. Every faction is unique in their motivations, and it generally pays to be nice to them. That is, if they can be reasoned with. In no particular order, these are the Hegemony, which represent the combined remains of law and order from the Domain era, the Persian League, which said fuck taxes and broke off from the Hegemony.
Son anarcocapitalistas, van a ser mi enemigo si juego este juego, man.
Diktat, a military dictatorship, which also said fuck taxes and broke off from the Hegemony. Corporation, which represents the R&D business interest of Tritachyon Incorporated, the mega corporation responsible for pioneering unregulated AI technology. Conversely, there's the Luddic Church, who are subhumans that believe the collapse was God's punishment for molesting the stars, and that artificial intelligence is literally electronic Satan. These are considered the moderates. Then there's the Luddic Path, a sect of fundamentalist space jihadists that believe the answer to man's technological hubris is rampant terrorism. Everyone hates the Luddic Path, and the Luddic Path hates everyone. And finally, pirates. These are self-explanatory.
¿Y dónde están los comunistas? Ay, supongo que me iría por la facción fascista. Chinguen a su madre.
And quite consistent with their ideology. You have stuff I want, so I'm going to kill you. Or you don't. I'm going to kill you anyway for the hell of it. Your relations and interactions with each of these factions will determine the fate of a galaxy. Anyway, gameplay. Everything's a wreck, tensions are high, but most of all, there's profit to be made. Mostly everything in Star Sector revolves around money or credits. These are effectively space bitcoins and are universally accepted everywhere. Most of your time, as with real life, will be spent figuring out how to make as much money as possible. You can see why I love this game. It runs in my blood. Your starting fleet is very small.
A ver, ¿qué dice? Ah, caray, no sabía que eras comunista. En serio, yo y el Joy siendo comunistas, oye, no lo sé. Yo siendo amigo del Joy y pasándome sus ideas comunistas, oye, no lo sé.
fight most enemies, but you are fast and burn very little fuel to get around. The
Vaya.
only means of interstellar travel in Star Sector is by diving into hyperspace and burning through metric tons of antimatter fuel to reach distant stars. So the size and composition of your fleet is important for fuel economy. You should always watch your fuel tanks and pray you never run dry while in the middle of deep space, because once you go dry, your fleet will be pulled into the nearest gravity well, which
Es que hoy sí hace mucho ruido. Yo pensé que siempre se peleaban ideológicamente, pero aparentemente aún no los conozco tan bien. No, yo también soy comunista, pero me encanta andar chingando a la madre con el Joy, porque pues ya sabemos la dinámica. Esa es la dinámica entre ese pendejo y yo. Los dos somos comunistas, la diferencia es que él es liberal y yo soy totalitario.
Unlucky might be a red giant. If you're very unlucky, a black hole. So at the start, I recommend you do planetary surveys and exploration contracts. These don't require much investment, just patience and nerves of steel. Sometimes, while exploring deep space, you might hear
¿Totalitario? Yes. Indeed, very indeed.
distress signals. We ignore those. Just ignore them.
Just ignore
Contracts
them.
are offered to you by intel frequencies from different factions.
Oye, eso soy extremo. Quizás. Autoritario sería más bien la palabra. No totalitario, sino más bien autoritario. O sea, no, totalitario no, autoritario sería más la mejor palabra para describirme.
How close you are to the nearest
Lo único que concordamos, de las pocas cosas que concordamos sin rechistar, es básicamente que chinguen su madre los ANCAPs.
communications relay.
Cosa chistosa porque uno de mis amigos más cercanos es un ANCAP, así que jaja.
Decide how quickly you hear about it, since transmissions travel in real time. You should generally be very quick about grabbing these. Space is busy, and contracts can be withdrawn or taken by somebody else without notice.
Nice,
With money
en
to
efecto.
spare, you can go ahead and actually invest into your own ships. And let me tell you, there's a lot of ships to choose from, with different roles, specifications, and hull sizes. This ranges from the smallest frigates to capital class ships, which take up most of the screen. It doesn't end there. Every ship can be modified, outfitted, and equipped with weapons respective to the type and size of the mount. There's a lot of crazy setups. You can even make huge modifications to the hull to completely change your ship's behavior. For example, let's say you want your cruiser to act as a makeshift carrier. You can convert their cargo bays to accommodate fighter squadrons instead. Some factions also cook up their own modifications. Pirates don't have top-of-the-line equipment, so they improvise. For this reason, the Pirate's capital class ship is a stolen cargo freighter ripped apart and stitched back together with as
Mis ojos yo viendo cómo la inflación se come mis grados militares. Ni modo, ¿qué se le va a hacer? El artesano está inflando la moneda. Lo que un solo conche su madre con todas las balas militares puede hacerle a un conche su
many
madre.
guns as they could possibly hold. The Luddic path follows the same philosophy of DIY hull mods, but they don't care about coming back alive, so they take captured fuel ships, override the safety settings, and turn it into a gigantic battering ram. And it's absolutely terrifying when you realize it's burning towards you at full speed. The amount of customization is insane, and you can do this for every single ship in your fleet. Combat takes place automatically, with your fleet responding to orders to the best of their ability. They're actually quite good, until you get a reckless officer who decides that the best defense is a good offensive ramming maneuver. However, you
Ese mod es chistoso. Velvet 515 Chopper. So bonito.
pilot your flagship directly. It takes some getting used to.
¿Te hacer un
Every
fucking
ship
chopper?
generates
No sé.
flux whenever they shoot or absorb damage, so you'll have to manage or vent the extra flux into space to avoid overloading your system and leaving yourself open to attack. The same goes for enemies.
Ah,
If
sí,
you're involved-
recuerden, men. El bot existe, men, en realidad. Men, recuerden que el bot existe, men.
Fucking the fake.
Solo tienen que poner el comando, men.
This wasn't
Por cierto,
already too
Raven,
much to take in.
los grados militares van a acabar valiendo menos que los bolívares venezolanos de paz. Among Us.
Ship type has unique
Por cierto,
specializations.
Raven.
For example, phase class ships can't use shields. Instead, they can do this, which moves the ship safely into an alternative dimension where time flows much faster. Combine
Vaya.
that with my favorite ship in the
Grande mi general. ¿Viste el dibujo de la Faquencia? Y dice, sí, ¿qué te parece, men?
Game, the Star Sector equivalent of Killer Queen, and
Killer Queen
can turn anything into a bomb while hiding inside another dimension. I don't have to explain shit. It just works. Combat is amazing once you figure it out. It's simultaneously the hardest and
Te quedó chida.
most
Nice.
satisfying component
¿Algo
of the
que
game.
algo que puedas retroalimentarme o de plano si te gustó a
is
ti?
not at risk. All planetary stations offer combat simulations to test your design. However, you'll need a lot more money to get to that point, so you'll need to work with the game's economic system. Yes, this game has a fully simulated real-time economy. Every colony produces, demands, and consumes different resources, and needs a constant stream of trade traffic to stay
A ver, déjala ver otra vez.
functional. The resources needed depend on the industry. For example, mining. Mining is very depressing, so miners consume a lot of heroin to numb the pain of being a miner.
Vaya.
Mining colony's output stagnates if the smuggled narcotics cannot meet demand each time.
Vaya. Pero sí, ser minero está de la verga, men. Sinceramente, hasta en la vida real está bien de la verga, men. Man of values already base.
Each time you enter a marketplace in the game, you can pull up the entire market data, see consumers, producers, market shares, and relative prices across the sector. But making a profit isn't that easy. The open market is subject to a massive trade tariff of 30%, which can quickly cut into your margins. So we don't trade on the open market. We trade on the black market. Smuggling shit planet to planet completely sidesteps paying taxes and lets you deal in highly illegal contraband like combat mechs, AI cores, harvested organs, and every drug you can think of. However, the life of a smuggler isn't that easy. Smuggle too much and your suspicion level increases, which means patrol fleets are more likely to do random stop searches. Sometimes they find nothing. Sometimes they find all of your contraband, destroy it, and hurt your reputation. I still remember the moment I was amazed by this game. I was about to be stop searched by a random patrol, so I thought, hey, let's just eject all of my drugs out into space. So I got stop searched. They found nothing, as expected. Then the patrol officer said, hey, you're all clean. By the way, we scanned some cargo pods floating around nearby, and you know what? They're filled with illegal shit, but it's not yours, right? So we'll just confiscate the...
Respecto a la franquicia, está muy bien, aunque yo personalmente exageraría un poco más las proporciones para que quede claro y haría diferente el sobreado. Pero en general es buen dibujo.
Ok, perfecto, perfecto.
And destroy them. This game thinks of everything. So, to smuggle effectively, let me teach you the tricks of a trade, which conveniently are the same tools you'll use for navigating space. Number 1. In civilized space, everyone has to have their transponder on. This is your fleet identification. It's illegal to go without it, but it makes it very obvious when you're doing shady business. The detection range of your fleet depends on your surroundings. A nearby asteroid field is the perfect place to hide. Once inside, we kill our transponder and go dark. Going dark means running engines on minimal power, which reduces your heat signature and makes you very hard to detect. Doing this, we quietly approach planets and do business anonymously, so the authorities can't trace it back to us. Number 2, if you get jumped by patrols or spotted, hit the emergency burn and outrun them. If they're too close, there's a chance they'll try and fire off an interdiction, which temporarily fries your burn drives. If this happens, you're screwed. But we've got another trick up our sleeves. Number 3, transverse jumping. The most...
Ya ves como los hombres generalmente son rectángulos y las mujeres curvas. Ya quisiera yo ser curva carita riéndose.
Yo cuando, when eres el fucking
essential skill you can learn as a fleet commander, which lets you jump right into hyperspace without using a jump point. It's highly illegal, it takes a while to charge, but it lets you dab on patrols before they can reach you. With all of these tools, you should be able to make fat stacks of cash. Now, of course, regular smuggling is fine and dandy, but the big profits are taken from trade contracts, as they often pay several times the market value, provided you can can deliver on time. Or
Men, literalmente esto es anarcocapitalismo el juego, weón. Esto es anarcocapitalismo el videojuego, weón. Me estoy dando cuenta.
just hang around the local bar. At the end of the day, it turns out the best vehicle for human business is alcohol. This game is constant management, planning, and calculation. Sometimes things don't go as planned or get thrown off by...
Anarcocapitalismo. ¡Oh, Guatemala 2! Fallout New Vegas también. No, en Fallout New Vegas sí es de dónde elegir en cuanto a ideología política. Este juego no, este es anarcocapitalismo, anarcocapitalismo. Fuck you.
Factors outside your control, but these can also be exploited for your own gain. Let's say a system has been targeted by pirates.
Te quiero un chingo, Sech, porque siempre me das de qué hablar con tus pinches videos. Te quiero un chingo, cabrón. Pero sí, porque la anarcocapitalismo es que escoger impuestos o fardas.
Smuggling is rampant. Trade convoys are good.
Mejor anarcocomunismo que chingue su madre. Que chingue su madre la anarquía, pero sobre todo el anarcocapitalismo.
This is terrible. However, it's also terribly profitable for you. The more desperate a system gets, the cheaper they'll sell their exports, and the higher they'll pay for imports to stabilize the market. You could even go one step further. Why not take advantage of a trade surplus, buy off the excess, and smuggle them back to the pirates? Pirates have terrible trade routes and will gladly pay good money for marines, mechs, and narcotics. War and conflict is just business after all. In this game, morality doesn't pay. Opportunistic pragmatism does. When your business relations
Literalmente anarcocapitalismo el hueco,
sours or ceases to be profitable, offer to take the bounty contract for that same group of pirates, blast their station into orbit, and receive even more money and praise from the faction that posted the contract. You'll come back a celebrated hero, and lower-ranking officials will generally stay out of your way. You're a smuggler, you're doing illegal shit, but you're also helping us out, so we'll turn a blind eye for now. You can also do the same for the Ludic Path. Who knew that arming radical space terrorists could be so profitable? This game is amazing, and with the latest update, you can go even further. With so much wealth and power, why not start exploring the far sectors of space? It's mostly filled with dead rocks and all sorts of natural and unnatural cosmic horrors like neutron stars, black holes, and even worse, the
¡Oh! Me vino al cerebro que el fucking se vuelve Ulises y tome el control del silo de misiles de la Armada Mexicana. Yo cuando... Bueno, eres el fucking... Debería dibujar como Ulises, ven. Al chile sí. Jaja, al chile sí. Suena fucking sí. Definitivamente suena a mí.
Get lucky. You might find a planet that's actually good. Not too much unlike Earth. So, you run a survey, send an expedition, and hey, what do you know? It is a damn good planet. So, why not colonize it? Start your own colony. Form your own faction. Invest back into the colony. Attract more people and grow the population. Build heavy batteries, orbital battle stations, and patrols to secure your domain. Expand. Expand aggressively. Announce that your station is now an open port. Profit from your own black market. Start an organ harvesting operation. Take so much of the illegally harvested organ market share that other factions get jealous and try to fuck you over with red tape, bureaucracy, and trade disruptions to prevent you from getting ahead. Subvert their plans by bribing their commanders. Become
fucking mandando todos los misiles de la Armada de México al Perú. Y a Turquía también. ¿Por qué no?
An industrial powerhouse. Get targeted by pirates for being too prosperous. Get targeted by the space jihad for being too industrial. Get targeted by the hegemony because they realize why you're so successful. Because your colony isn't run by humans. No, all this time your colony has been run by an alpha core, an artificial intelligence that overshadows the decision-making abilities of any human. In Star Sector, using an AI is completely illegal. Using an alpha-level AI is extremely fucking illegal. But as long as you keep bribing their military, they can't do anything. Eventually, decide that having an AI isn't worth the trouble. Try and pull it out. But you can't, because it's missing.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
Realize that the AI already anticipated this. Get blackmailed by your own AI, who threatens to tell every faction in a sector that you've been using AI technology if you try and disconnect him. Do it anyway. Plunge your empire into total war. Raid the other factions and steal their copyright-protected blueprints. Watch them get obliterated by their own ship designs. Cripple their military. Propose a ceasefire. Receive no reply. Order a saturation bombardment on every core world. Condemn millions to their death. Win. Decommission every AI core and throw them into the sun. And consider what you've done. Then, put one final bullet in the chamber. Hold the barrel against your temple and shoot.
Yo cuando.
Star Sector. It's a lot of fun. Surely, Seth, there's nothing more to say, and you've covered everything. Wrong. This game also has its own active modding scene, which adds dozens of new ships, weapons, and factions into the mix. There's even mods which merge them all together, letting new factions trade and interact with the rest. After finishing the base game, mods can keep you entertained with an entirely new game altogether.
Activó el modo fucking, activó el modo... Palabra que no puedo decir.
Sometimes the developers even incorporate mods into the main code if they're that good. Oh yeah, this game also works on Mac and Linux. This is probably one of the best products I've ever bought, and it only cost me 15 bucks. They make you use some old-ass website from the 2000s to get your CD key and download link, but hey, it works. I can't really complain about something I've played for several hundred hours.
Fucking del oeste, cuando un robot de envase de latas y fierro... Fucking del oeste creando un robot a base de latas y fierro de 14 metros listo para destruir la democracia y al capitalismo. En efecto, el modo easy palabra. Sí.
Nor something that keeps getting updates yearly. My only criticism is that chasing enemies or getting into a fight can take a long time if you're flying the larger ships, but again, this is something I fixed with a single mod. In an industry where you're piled on constantly with mediocrity, garbage, and bloated design, this is something put out by a few guys that puts AAA studios to shame. I give it a 10 out of 10. I'm completely biased and I don't care. Star Sector is a beautiful game, and I thoroughly recommend it. Go buy it. And if you're not sure, go try it. Here's my actual CD key. There's downloads below. You can smack it in there. Enjoy. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild, generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one. Alright, roll the credits.
Ok. Probablemente la canción tenga copia, así que pues ya ahí la vamos dejando, men. O sea, el video vaya. Pero bueno, men, vamos a seguir dibujando, men. Ya que andamos con el mod. A ver qué dice. El ACDK funciona, la usé y saqué el juego. Oh, ¿neta, men? ¿Es pinches neta, weón? No mames. Debería intentarlo, men. Ah, chingada ma. A ver. Pero... A ver, ese fragmento no era chiste, fue... Verga, men. Bueno, ya estoy poniendo el timer, no empiecen de mamá huevos. Perfecto. Ahora sí, nada de palabrotas. ¿Ok? Los odio. Os voy a matar. Os odio. Así vamos a ver quiénes andan en stream. Ahorita que se termine el mix del Megaten, hacerle raid, porque obviamente no le vamos a hacer raid al Frot. And now I only can speak in English. How wonderful situation, you know? You love me and you know. I know. I gonna kill you. But hey, Rafa is ending the stream and don't write in me. Engran. You might. Ah no. Oh no. Rafa is still in the stream. Okay. England, please. No. I don't speak in England. I'm speaking English. In English pocho. Very bonito. Pariente. And I say pariente. That's the only word in Spanish I can say because it's part of the reward, so. Okay. Perfect. Now England is an insult, you're lost. Alright now. Alright, alright. Perfect. We're going fine with the draw. So, the transphobic island of the middle of the ocean. I speak in England. I speak. Yo, mate, I speak in England. Yo, British. Yo. The British speak so horrible, man. The British speak so horrible. Like the Gaelic style of speaking in the Roman language. I really hate how the British speak. I hate British, but I hate more the funny country of the Winnie the Pooh. I forgot Winnie the Pooh is actually in English, and I started thinking how I say it in English, but it's actually in English. Live from Britain can go here for me. I read Australia and said, my friend, my comrade who actually watched Bluey. My comrade who actually watched Bluey. Now I still remember when Peppa Pig started in the air. When they start emitting Peppa Pig, and all the kids in the United States start to speak like a English, like a British, and now with Bluey, all the kids in the United States want to speak as the Australians. How wonderful situation. I hate England, all my homies prefer Australia. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, actually. Gonna do more bigger the hand. Okay, perfect. The bigger of the beast. The great of the glory. Giant Minecraft-like spider kangaroo summer of the Christmas incest. I really hate. That's the only part I don't like from Australia. Is the Christmas is actually hot there. It's like a yeah. I'm from the north of the world, and the Christmas is supposed to be cold, no warm. I really hate that. How the southern hemisphere do to survive all the hot in the Christmas? I speak English, bonito pariente. Fair, actually. Yeah, perfect. But I noticed you're very good in the English, Raven. I still thinking I don't good at all in English, but when you change the reward, it's funny to me see how I don't know how to say good I am in English. I don't know. I mean, I can have a more or less fluid conversation with a native, and alright, I always making the joke about haha, I know English because I always fight with British about food in the internet, but that's not true at all. I know English because I watch a lot of videos in English, so okay, perfect. I ruined my air fail. It's running in my family. My sister read English at the 80 years old. Voila! Asu. I don't know how to say impressive expression in English, so asu. Myself and I learn my singing metal songs. Truly based. You're actually based. You actually based. Just monstered my base, brother. You're actually based, you know? Let me do this. More bigger. And we're gonna make more exaggerated the mount. But yeah, from the on, because I were living from me, you're actually learning English. You're still pretty good actually in the English. Like this, yeah. This color searching. Make a little bit bigger than the other eye. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Like someone in talking about the long English. Why I calls out people English in streams, I don't even know what to say. Yo entiendo perfecto el inglés. Y ok, ya pasó y ya puedo decir maldiciones, chinguen a su madre todos, los voy a matar. Pero sí, yo entiendo bastante bien el inglés en realidad. Yo lo entiendo porque pues principalmente veo videos en inglés, entonces mi comprensión es más que nada al momento de escuchar y no tanto al hablar. El fucking tipo, fuck all, fuck it all, fuck you all, en efecto. Literalmente chinguen todos a su madre, ya puedo hablar en español. Ajá, en efecto. Ya puedo hablar en español. Chinguen todos a su madre. Puta madre, ponerle pimienta con limón al puré de papas fue una idea pendeja. ¿Por qué lo harías? ¿Por qué pondrías pimienta y limón al puré de papa? ¿Por qué? Guay. Yo te tenía en una alta estima porque dijiste que sabías hacer hamburguesas con madre y me sales con esto. Guay. Eres pendeja. Chamaca pelleja. No sé, jaja, pensé que sabría bien. Eres un reverendo pende. Eres un reverendo pende. Ok, listo, ya quedó la mano. Ok, perfecto, 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 perfecto. Ahora sí. Es que miras de morder fueron un accidente. Juro que saben igual. Saben genial. Vos te vale no mentirme. O si no, chupa el perro. No, no sé. ¿Hace cuánto que no escuchaba la expresión chupa el perro? Son cosas de Germán, ¿no? No sé, no tengo ni idea. O si no, te fusilan. A fucking le faltan brazos. Ok, perfecto. Te voy a fusilar, Rivet. Ok, perfecto. Eso fue alto momento, Germán. En efecto, alto momento, Germán. Y si estoy viendo que voy con un poco de delay. La puta madre. A ver, ¿cuánto delay lleva? Bueno, no lleva tanto delay ahora que lo veo. ¿Qué pedo? Que sí es cierto, desde que cambié las configuraciones del stream, ahora ya va como un poquito mejor. Bueno, no que cambié las configuraciones, sino que descubrí que tener el... A ver, delay, no sabes lo asqueroso, pero ese puré podría ser mejor. Definitivamente podría hacerlo. Ok, perfecto, ya quedó el fucking emputado. Debí usar pimiento normal, no con limón. Eres una reverenda pende. Eres una reverenda pende. Ah, vale, cierto. Ok, ya junto, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Debí usar pimiento normal, eres una reverenda pende. Ok, perfecto. Ok, perfecto, ya casi se acaba el mix, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Feliz. Ok, feliz. Ok, aquí va el feliz. ¿Feliz? Sí, feliz, en efecto. ¡Feliz! A ver, feliz. What the fuck you say? No, 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 nothing, nothing, nothing. Ya, Artes, ya empezaste de mama huevo. Que empezaste tú de mama huevo, hijo de la chingada. A ver, perfecto. A ver, no. Dejando precargada la rocola, te voy a matar. Ok, perfecto. Ok, vamos a usar el lápiz. Perfecto. Ok. Nada más asegúrate, Raven, que no tenga... copy. Es libre de copy, perfecto. Es que me da curiosidad ver cómo se vería en tus streams. Cómo se vería en tus streams esa rola. Ok, perfecto. Es maravilloso. Fucking mamadísimo, mazo. No, es simplemente para tener referencias de lo que es el cuerpo, básicamente. Comprensible. Intento. Sabes que el pixel art me ayuda a entender la anatomía, es chistoso. En parte a mí también. Cuando hice los retratos al estilo de Papers, Please, me ayudó bastante con la anatomía a mí. Que Mato me dijo que hiciera el este más ancho. El brazo más ancho. Perfecto. Ok, tal vez no tan ancho. No, a ver, esta capa. A ver, dame un lienzo normal y te hago un dibujo deforme. Yo cuando. Bueno, eres el fucking. Soy el fucking XD. La critico pose. A ver, la de critico pose, lo critica. Ok, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Lo critica. Ok, perfecto. Aquí está. Ok. Ok. A ver. Lo critica. Lo critica. De hecho, debería estar también haciendo de la cara. A ver. Ok, perfecto. Quito esto. A ver. Ok, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Lo critica. Le critiqué. La Vegeta. ¿Por qué dije le critiqué? No sé por qué. Oh no, me estoy volviendo francés. Voy a dejar de existir. ¡No! No, no me quiero en un lugar imaginario. No, para eso tengo mi mente. No. Le critiqué. ¡No! No me quiero ir a un lugar imaginario. Ah, la verga. Espérate. No me quiero ir a Francia. No me quiero ir a un lugar imaginario. No. Oh, pero estar en Francia no está tan mal. Ya no me importa. Ok, perfecto.
Raven Souled Live. Hoy el gato se echó en la cama conmigo. XD es muy cariñoso.
El mío también. Mi gata también es bien pinche cariñosa. También mi pinche gata es bien pinche cariñosa. La quiero un chingo, pero a ver, es bien pinche encimosa la pendeja.
Raven Souled Live. Pero muy desconfiado.
No, la mía es al contrario. Confía bien rápido en las personas. Si no, pregúntale al mato el día que vino a mi casa y la pinche gata ya estaba de encimosa con él.
Raven Souled Live. Si tardé un día entero en que me agarrara confianza.
Pero es de la calle, ¿no? Dices. Que es gata de la calle.
Raven Souled Live.
No, era de mi hermano.
Era de mi hermanastra, pero ya no lo quisieron y me lo trajeron, jaja.
Ah, ya. Ya.
Raven Souled Live. Pobrecito, lo noté deprimido.
Chale. Supongo que no le daban suficiente atención en casa, no sé. Ok, perfecto.
Raven Souled Live. Lo contrario, yo creo que extraña su casa.
Oh, ya. Pues sí, medio normal, la verdad. O sea, ¿qué estoy haciendo? Va remangado, qué pendejo. Que sí es cierto que el rediseño lo estoy haciendo con las mangas arremangadas, sí es cierto. Arremanga la repújala.
Raven Souled Live.
Agio. Que se nota que ya hay video otra vez en el chat. Perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Déjame checar algo así en Fa. Pero en Fa va a abrir. Ok, perfecto.
Raven Souled Live. Baba Boy.
Baba Boy. En efecto, es un momento muy Baba Boy. Baba Boy. Ok, Baba Boy. Ok, ya casi se termina el mix, así que perfecto.
Raven Souled Live. Baba Boy.
Indeed, Baba Boy. Eso está muy Baba Boy de tu parte. A ver, no. Creo que... Ah, ya le entendí al final del no, perfecto.
Raven Souled Live. Mira nomás esas manos, papá.
En efecto, mira nomás. Ok, si está como que medio chingame la vista. Entonces... Ok, perfecto. Ok, perfecto, ya va quedando.
Raven Souled Live. No irónicamente, ya quisiera yo dibujar manos así de bien.
Eso sí, he notado que he mejorado mucho haciendo manos, yo, la verdad. Eso sí lo he notado, y bastante, que he mejorado bastante haciendo manos. Y eso me pone muy feliz de que ya esté mejorando tanto. Voy a tryhardear las manos, mi estimada. Supongo que con la pura práctica, en realidad. No sé.
Raven Souled Live. A tryhardear las manos.
A tryhardear en las manos, ha dicho, en efecto. Qué bueno que estés intentando mejorar, Raven, la verdad. Porque tú dibujas muy bonito.
Raven Souled Live. O usted también, General Fakencio.
El general Faken a sus órdenes. Te digo, no dibujo mal, pero siento que estoy lejos del punto en el que quiero estar. Así que pues eso. Desde luego no dibujo mal, pero desde luego tampoco estoy en el punto en el que me gustaría estar.
Raven Soulet Live. Siempre se puede mejorar y eso se entiende y respeta. Raven Soulet Live. Yo también hay cosas que quiero pulir.
Sí, yo por ejemplo no sé qué quiero pulir exactamente, supongo que todo en un conjunto. Pero eso. Por ejemplo, esto no me acaba de convencer del todo.
Raven Soulet Live.
Volví, buenas Raven. Bienvenida de vuelta. Siento que se me quedó un poco más grande la mano.
Raven Soulet Live. Anuncio chistoso, jaja.
Ok, perfecto. Anuncios. Me cae un momento.
Raven Soulet Live. Por eso apenas volví.
Ah, ya. Ya. Ok, ya entendí. Perfecto. A ver, perfecto. Ok, ya casi vamos a ir terminándome en el stream. O bueno, no, yo creo que pongo otro mix o pongo otra música. Pongo la rocola, men. Chingue su madre, pongo la rocola. Ya saben, en cuanto veo una Mogus se muere. En cuanto yo veo un Soy tu impostor se muere la rocola. Ya saben, sobre aviso no hay engaño, men.
Raven Soulet Live. Sus.
Muy sus. Voy a matar. ¿Qué la verga? Ok. Perfecto, ahí va quedando. Arteson deja de meter unos sus a la rocola. Se muere la rocola, he entendido. Se muera con mucho gusto. Que la verga.
Ravensouled Live. Porque esa música me resulta familiar.
Porque la pongo en cada stream, básicamente. Es la música del Shin Megatieso.
Ravensouled Live.
Ah. Pero sí, por eso se resulta. Por eso XD. Sí, la pongo en cada stream, así que pues eso. Música del Shin Megatieso, siempre lo mejor. Ok, perfecto. Ahora sí, déjame ir poniendo otra chingadera en la rocola. Déjame poniendo la rocola. Que, a ver. Que estuve todo este rato sin cambiar la categoría. Me lleva a la verga. Parece que ya están llegando a casa. A ver, volvió el dibujo. Dibujo. Ok, perfecto. Actualizar, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Around of touch. Now the touch. Bien, checamos.
Ravensouled Live. Agio.
Ok, perfecto. Le ponemos la rocola. Iraq Lobster. Cierto, te la rifaste con la canción, men. Está chida. Cabrón, está chida. Cabrón, está chida. Perfecto, perfecto. Crack lobster. Ok, creo que esa es la de Raven. Ah, no es la de Artes, no. Ah, el pibe motosierra, weón. Agio, 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 agio. Perfecto, ya empezó el float, ya empezó el float. Terminamos la rocola y vemos a quién rayamos. Ok. Y vemos a quién rayamos. Sale pues, sale pues.
Ravensoul Libre. Ouch, me está empezando a doler el hocico.
Au. Vayas a checar, chamaca.
Ravensoul Libre. No hay que checar, es por las muelas del juicio.
Ah, ya. No, pues ya, normal. Lo que platicabas ayer con el casual, con el Cazul, mi compa el Cazul.
Ravensoul Libre. Eso.
Perfecto. Ok, vamos a corregir tantito este. Ok. Ok, creo que le tengo que alargar tantito más los dedos, men, en realidad. ¡Espera! ¿What? ¿Me das una... men? A la verga, men, la recreación vocal, men. A la verga, men. Eso es una bien cursed, men, pero, men. A la verga, men, las vocales de la canción, qué pedo, men. A la verga, men, qué pedo. A la verga, men, qué pedo. Si suena medio cursed, men. Así la pura pinche vocal, men. Suena bien cursed, men.
Ravensoul Libre. Siento que Satanás me está acechando.
Yo no sé cómo sentirme con las vocales, pero sí se siente como de caricatura antigua las vocales. Y se siente... Está raro. Está raro definitivamente.
Raven Souled Live.
Esa es tu canción.
Ahí está mi rola X.
Pues suena bastante bien. Pues suena bastante bien, la verdad. Sobre todo para la música sin copies de la banda de YouTube, sí, desde hace tiempo. Nice. Pues sí suena bastante nice la canción, no te voy a mentir. Ok, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Perfecto. Ok, perfecto. Control S. Ok, perfecto. Aquí lo puedo mejorar tantito. Ok, perfecto.
No hay forma de poder vencer, nos van a derrotar. Juega muy bien.
¿Qué es esto, güey?
Genes modificados.
Super 11, men. ¡A la verga, men! Super 11, weón.
Así que levántate, aún no nos han ganado. Chicos, recuperemos el balón y paremos a ese cabrón. Va siendo hora de marcar un gol. Vamos chicos, es hora de dar el tipo. Mix y más trans y armadura, yo me equivoco.
Ok, perfecto, men. Hasta aquí. Yo creo que hasta aquí le vamos dejando, men. A ver, ese. Pero eso, men. Ay, güey. Men, qué pedo, men, con la canción. ¿Qué pedo con la canción, men? A ver. Vamos a ver, men. Vamos a ver qué sacaron los momazos, men. Así en fa. A ver. A ver, vamos a ver quiénes siguen en directo, men. Vamos a darle rate al grafa porque se lo prometí, men. Vamos a darle rate al grafito porque se lo prometí, men. Y pues eso. Que se lo prometí al grafa. Vamos a ver, perfecto. Ponte. Tú cállate, perfecto. Ahora sí, perfecto. Déjame ver si salieron creeps, hijos de la chingada. A ver si salieron creeps, hijos de la bastarda. Creo que no. Ok, no. Populares de todos los tiempos. A ver, ¿cuál es el que se mantiene más popular? Men, ¿por qué el de Halo Wars? El que no sabía que se podía poner pausa. No sabía el botón en el que se ponía el mocos y el grapas. En efecto. Vamos a hacerle al grapas porque además ahí es donde yo modero. Pero eso, vamos a ver si salió algo en los momazos. Creo que no salió nada en los momazos. A ver. Y no, en efecto no salió nada. Perfecto. Déjame las notificaciones así en fa. Ok, perfecto. Mira, las sopas compartió el stream, man. La Vivowo compartió el stream. Maravilloso. You lose when the condor gets got. A ver, perfecto. Ahora sí. Gui, en efecto. A huevo, sí. A huevo, sí, a huevo. Huevo. Y no sé qué voy a estar haciendo, men. A lo mejor continúo con los estos. A lo mejor, no sé, men. ¿Con qué podría continuar dibujando, men? ¿Qué podría continuar dibujando? Pero a ver, pues eso, men. Déjame ir cerrando esto. Déjame cerrar esto. Cerrar, dije, gracias. Y pues eso, men. A ver. Déjame abrir las pestañas. Voy a poner el tema del Raidomen. El tema de despedida del Raidomen. El tema del final del Raidomen. Y pues eso, men. One Year Reload. A ver. ¿Qué es esto? 2022. One Year of Reload. A ver. Pero chingada madre carga. Y perfecto, men. Ahora sí. Raido. Kusunoha. ¿Quieres cargar? Chingada madre. Ahí está. Raido Kusunoha vs Army Ending. A Webby Wabo. En efecto. Webby Wabo. A ver, perfecto, men. Pero eso. Permítame tantito. Nomás bájale. Y pues nada. Muchas gracias por haberme acompañado el día de hoy, compadres. La verdad se agradece mucho el apoyo que siempre están dando. Muchas gracias a los que estuvieron aquí, a los que vinieron a decir hola y se fueron. Muchas gracias a los que se quedaron hasta el final. Y pues nada, quédense a la raid para ganar puntitos y obligarme a hacer pendejadas. Ganar puntitos y obligarme a hacer pendejadas en los próximos streams. Hijos de la chingada, como reaccionar a pendejadas para desviar exitosamente el stream. Ok, esta pendejada está cargando. Perfecto. Pero eso, nomás en lo que carga en fa. Déjame ir metiéndome al canal del grafito, men. Twitter. Ok, perfecto, men. Ahora sí, grafa. El pibe 4. A ver, perfecto, men. Perfecto.
Vete, no quiero.
El mato está ahí, en lugar de mi canal. Hijo de la bastarda, él es Motaka. Pero perfecto, men. Pues eso, men. Vamos a ir cayéndole al nomás. Esto, Coca Efecto el directo. Estuvo Coca Efecto el directo. Muchas gracias, Geoffman. La verdad, se agradece. Y men, vas por muy buen camino en el tutubo, men. La verdad, ya quiero ver más trabajos tuyos, men. Y pues eso. Muchas gracias por haberme acompañado el día de hoy. Se agradece bastante. Y pues nada, recuerden, siempre hay algo por lo que seguir. Adiós.
Que puedes